Hello, Ben here. Hope everybody is well and welcome to Benjy's Cafe Podcast. My guest this week is the actor, comedian and writer Susan Harrison. Susan is a core member of the Olivier Award-winning Showstopper, the Improvised Musical, works with the award-winning Mischief Theatre in Mischief Movie Night, and has taken 5 acclaimed shows to the Edinburgh Fringe. She was a series regular on the BAFTA award-winning BBC show Class Dismissed, and created and wrote for the BAFTA-nominated children's sketch show DNN. Susan shares her love of creating original content and the buzz of improvisation, plus her work with Showstopper and Mischief Theatre, and the excitement of her upcoming Edinburgh show, Susan Harrison, Should I Still Be Doing This?
I'm really looking forward to just being there. I want the audience to feel like joyful by the end and like, yeah, this is a silly job. It is ridiculous that I'm still doing it, but it's a lot of fun and, you know, we need a bit of fun in life.
Susan is also co-host of the comedy podcast Leyline High Rewind. Yep, she's a busy bee and a bloody funny one. Welcome to Benjy's Cafe Podcast, Susan Harrison. Hi Susan, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, it's lovely to be here.
It's great to see you. My goodness, how's your day been so far?
Yeah, my day has been pretty busy actually. I recorded another podcast this morning, which was Leyline High, which is a totally different sort of podcast that I've just started doing relatively recently. Now I'm here with you and it's lovely to see your smiley face.
Yeah. Likewise. We worked together. We were trying to work it out, weren't we? 2020, I think, mid-COVID, mid-face masks. We did Panto Newbury and you were so bloody funny. It was just such a joy to work with you. What an experience that was. It was crazy, wasn't it?
It was crazy. Oh, thank you. It was such a breath of fresh air, that job, I thought. Like, coming right in the middle at a time when we were wondering, would we ever be able to do theatre again? And, you know, all of those sort of feelings. And then suddenly being able to just be silly on stage to an audience who really needed an outlet. It was amazing, wasn't it?
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, being silly on stage, it was just a joy. And my goodness, because it'd been months since I'd been on stage up to that point, and just to remind ourselves why we do it is wonderful. And even though the audience was split between these perspex screens, it was just to entertain. It was just a real reminder of why we do it. Do you agree?
I totally felt like that, yeah. Because there can be some times when I think, is it a bit self-indulgent, you know, being an actor or being a performer or whatever, you know. But, you know, compared to a doctor or something that's like a proper job. But then at moments like that, you did feel like, oh, actually, it is really valuable to give people a laugh and to let people be out with their family or their friends and enjoying something in real life and in real time. I think that's like really special. And I do feel that with quite a few elements of the work I do. I feel lucky to be able to do that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. Amidst the hustle of being a creative, that one does make people happy. We make audiences happy, and it's very hard to forget that it is a skill, isn't it? A lot of what we do makes people really, really happy during tough periods, I think.
And I feel like for me, when I'm a real comedy fan as well as performing comedy. I just love watching it, listening to it, everything. So, you know, and I have like a favourite comedy podcast called 3 Bean Salad, and whenever that comes out, I'm just so happy. And you know, and it reminds me like, oh yeah, perhaps other people feel this way, you know, for some of the work that I might put out sometimes, like with Showstopper, they might, you know, leave hopefully having had a real laugh. And so as a consumer of comedy, I really do feel that like it's so important to my life.
Yeah, and aren't podcasts great? Increasingly life is bonkers, I think, Susan.
Yeah.
Just to have that 40, however long it is, that hit in your ears, if you haven't got time, you know, to pick up a book, and it's just lovely. And like, do you enjoy producing and presenting your podcast, Leyline High? It's a real skill, but increasingly, my goodness, they're taking over, aren't they, podcasts? Couldn't it?
I do really enjoy it, and there's 3 of us, so that's quite nice because we can all sort of you know, lean on our different strengths, and we all have our different things that we bring to the table. So yeah, I really enjoy it. What about you? You've been doing yours a little while now.
The catalyst, it's been in my head for so long, Susan, and all my listeners know that, you know, I'm sober, alcohol free, and that was like the catalyst, really, of thinking, you know what, I can't just keep this idea in my head. I want to get it out there. I want to, you know, make people happy and just chat about the creative world and the benefits of being alcohol free, and just everybody's happy, really. It's so lovely, and the beauty is like, and interestingly, I think this links to a lot of the your work, Susan, that to be in control of your working week and your creative outlet is fantastic, isn't it? A lot of your online sketches and characters have gone viral, haven't they? That must be so rewarding. There are these platforms, podcast platforms, TikTok, Instagram, where you can get your work out there, you can try and fail, but a lot of your stuff has gone bonkers, hasn't it?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, it has been really nice to have, like you say, to have that outlet, which anyone can do. You know, all you need is a phone, really, and the ideas and stuff, obviously. But yeah, I've really enjoyed doing that. When Liz Truss was a bit more on the scene in real life, I would do Liz Truss videos. Tragically, she's less relevant now, which means that those videos have sort of died down. But yeah, I started making online videos during the pandemic, actually, as a way to just have a bit of creative outlet, creative expression. I mean, I made videos before that for YouTube, you know, back in the day. But obviously then in lockdown, we had so much more time. So I made lots of them then. And I just really enjoyed being able to just be proactive, like you said, no gatekeepers. You just, if you want to make something, you just instantly make it. And I really enjoyed the editing as well of videos. So that was like a nice unexpected sort of skill to learn. Yeah,
you're improving your skill set, aren't you? My goodness, you can come and help me edit my podcast. In my head, I am like Steve Jobs. I even try to wear a roll neck when I'm doing it, but I'm technically just not good. Just interestingly, you mentioned your Liz Truss sketches there, the online success they've garnered. How quick is the turnaround? Like, will you be watching the news? Will you hear something on a podcast or on the radio and you think, yeah, that's it, I've got to get on that? Is it quite an added pressure to have a quick turnaround to get your material out there and keep it fresh?
Yeah, it really was. When I was, because she's sort of on a hiatus now, because basically I'm sort of mirror what if she pipes up, I pipe up, but if she doesn't, then I don't. So I remember there were a couple of times when she would do, like, when she resigned. Do you remember when she was briefly Prime Minister?
Yeah, I think, she was. Wasn't she? Yeah.
In the blink of an eye. And I sort of thought, I bet she's going to resign this week. And I was rehearsing a play at the time, and I was like, oh, God, I'm going to have to go home after rehearsals and make a video just before she resigns in relation to that resigning. And sure enough, it was the next day, so I made it that night and put it out in the morning, and luckily it was just in time. But yeah, it is a bit ridiculous, so I'm kind of quite relieved that she's all quiet at the moment, because it means I don't have to worry about it, you know.
Yeah, well, hopefully she'll be back in some guise, then then you can get the wig on again, Susan. It's so funny, it's so good. You trained in Scotland at the Royal Academy of Music and Drama. Before that, what was your first memory of somebody making you laugh, like either within your family or circle of friends, or somebody on TV? I was a huge fan of Whose Line, Tony Slattery, Josie Lawrence. Oh my, that was like the Friday night go-to, you know, during Lower Six of comedy after the pub. Just wonderful. Did you enjoy those programmes, or when you were younger, did you think, oh gosh, this is something that is connecting with me? I know that I'm funny.
Oh, such a great question. I don't know. I think it took me a while to sort of think, oh, I know that I'm funny, even though I was making people laugh on stage, you know, just at like local Amdram and stuff. Yeah. But I didn't. But like, because there weren't as many female comedians at the time, like when I was little, there weren't as many role models. So I think that's why I went into acting rather than comedy. But yeah, I always enjoyed, I enjoyed Whose Line Is It Anyway, whenever that was. I loved Vic and Bob as a kid, and I used to stay up late to watch them, and that was really exciting. But I think the first person that made me laugh, like, memorably, might have actually been my grandpa, who was just a really funny person. He wasn't in comedy, and he wasn't a performer, but he just used to do, like, I don't know, just really, like, he'd be reading you a bedtime story, and he'd read it really deadpan, like, you know, Mary sat on the bed, her eyes were glued to the ceiling. Then she tried to detach them from the ceiling. You know, like, just little bits of wordplay that he would slip in. And he'd have all these, like, funny voices and stuff as well, and he was so funny. And that, to me, at the time, I remember thinking, God, that's well, maybe not consciously, but I registered how sort of charismatic that was, to be around someone so playful, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I think it took me a while to sort of know that. Maybe not until I was at drama school, where I thought, oh yeah, I seem to keep gravitating towards comedy specifically rather than just like performance in general.
When you were at drama school on graduation, was there a clear route, if to head into the comedy world? Was that encouraged with you? For me, I graduated, I've got my performing arts degree. You're going to off and join the hoi polloi with all the auditions. I'm 6'6", auditioning with somebody who's 5'8", 5'9". I just felt like just this giraffe-esque chap thinking, what am I doing in a dance school for Miss Saigon? This is. But that seemed to be the only way into the business. Was that the case for you? Like it was kind of an acting audition or bust almost initially.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it's so interesting you say that, because obviously I was at the opposite end of the height spectrum, being 4'11" with all these normal sized people. Yeah, totally. When I left drama school, there was never any mention of, oh, because you seem to be gravitating towards comedy, maybe you could try this or that. At the time, it was so, I don't know, it was so unknown. And I remember even my drama teachers at the time saying to me, like, oh, you're going to get really annoyed because you'll just be cast as kids and then your career will be over when you're 30. They literally said that. And I even at the time I was like, oh, but what about devised work? Because that was the only kind of work I could equate to being close to sort of what I do now, I suppose. And they were like, yeah, but there aren't many companies that do that. They were so, in retrospect, really quite unhelpful, which I don't think would be the case now. So yeah, like you, I just went into the sort of jobbing actor world, and it took me a long time to find everything I found, like sketch and improv. But I mean, I don't regret it in a way, because I had great experiences doing normal theatre.
Yeah. But within those normal theatre jobs, you worked at the National and the West End, Susan. Was there a moment where you thought, oh, I'm feeling really stifled here? I know that I can feel it's time for me to kind of get out there and get out my own thoughts and my creative brain out there.
Yeah, and I actually felt that quite early on. I was doing this really lovely, really cool, devised version of Hansel and Gretel, long time ago, and it was really beautiful. It was for the National Theatre of Scotland, and it was very immersive, really cool. But even in that, because I was Gretel, basically the kid roles are often quite boring. And I remember lying in a bed in this bit of forest as Gretel, while the witch, who was this amazing actress that I'm friends with, called Kath Whitefield, she was being really funny and really brilliant. And I remember being like, oh man, wish I could have had a funny role. So yeah. So I think even from then, yeah, I definitely knew that something had to change. But what about you? Because you're very funny and you have a lot of extra characters that would come out sometimes during the panto when we worked together. Did you ever have those instincts? Or?
Always had those characters in my head. But this is why I really admire you, Susan, why it's so lovely to chat to you, because I've never had the balls to pursue it. And I remember I did, you may have heard of, he was called Hugh Thomas, who was in charge of one of the modules at Middlesex University where I studied. Oh, yeah. And he ran downstairs at the King's Head in Crouch End.
Oh, yeah.
And one of our assessments of that module was to do an evening of stand-up. Not a whole evening, can you imagine, first gig? Hey, and I'll be back after the break. 2 hours later, but we had literally a 10-minute slot, and I remember I created this character. I can't remember what he was called, but he just wore a yellow all-in-one body stocking, and I think I put
Amazing.
On a northern voice and sang a song, but you know what, it went really well, and that was the first time where I thought, gosh, it's actually something that's come from my head, making people laugh, not just playing a part in a play or in a musical. But then, of course, again, I fell into the regular world of plays, musicals, performing other people's work. But all the time, I got more enjoyment from entertaining the cast backstage. There was this faux theatre agent, Mike Frazzle, who's still mentioned amongst my friend group, who's this awful cod theatrical agent who, his office is the phone box outside PetSmart on the Ring Road in Folkestone. I've never just had the balls to go for it. That's why I think what you've achieved and continue to achieve is so fantastic, and that must give you so much satisfaction.
Oh, thank you. That's so lovely. Yeah, you're right. And that's such a really nice, positive way to look at it. When it all gets a bit overwhelming in terms of generating your own stuff and trying to juggle that with earning money and stuff. Like, yeah, you're right. It is really great to be able to have that control, I guess, like input, and just to be able to use your own ideas immediately and all of that. Funnily enough, the first time I did sketch comedy was also I was in a play for like 10 months, and me and a few of the cast got a bit bored of our characters, so we would make up characters backstage too. And then off the back of that, we formed a sketch group.
You're just flying, aren't you? My goodness, Edinburgh on the horizon. Is it a stressful time of year for you? I know you're doing warm-up nights before you head up to Edinburgh. How important are they in cementing what you're going to be performing in Edinburgh, or is it continuous change even when you're up and running, at the Gilded Balloon?
Those work in progresses beforehand are really, really important. Yeah, you're right. It is quite stressful because you'll do it to one audience and they might have a really great time, and then you'll do one a couple of nights later and it might be a slightly quieter crowd or more shy, and then you kind of dissect everything. And so I've constantly been doing rewrites, and like I took one character out, put another character in. So I'm just really looking forward to it being sort of as locked as it can be in Edinburgh. And it probably will develop a bit in the month, but I would like it to be quite solid by the time I get there. So I'm really looking forward to just being there and it just being sort of as finished as it can be.
When you're there performing, is it all consuming? Is it quite exhausting? And do you have to kind of pace yourself? Because I imagine it's pretty social as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is really all consuming. It's like, I think the tricky thing about it is it's like such a bubble, and so you can go a bit a bit crazy if you're not careful. So I've tried to put loads of stuff in place now for this year of like basically I'm going to be really boring in terms of just like early nights where possible, you know.
I think that's great, Susan. It's like literally now I've got my boundaries, I'm not drinking, and so I still do panto, so to get through that literally, but I don't care because I actually have such a better experience creatively when I'm got the energy and the buzz to enjoy each performance as opposed to working through a hangover or fatigue. I'm just like, you know what, I'll see you all tomorrow, and I'm quite happy with a cheeky pizza or a cup of tea. And it's I think increasingly the importance of protecting yourself is vital really for a healthy run.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm going to try not to drink at all during the month, which I don't really drink too much anyway, but I think I'm going to try and just be really mindful of that. And also I've put little days in my diary to see friends who are Scottish friends who are not doing the Edinburgh Fringe. So I think that'll be mental health wise, that's going to be really helpful, just to hang out with some people who are not in any way comedians, so they'll have like a bit of perspective and other stuff going on in their lives, which I think is really healthy, isn't it, when you're performing? Oh
gosh, well, one of my best mates, I saw him yesterday for a coffee, actually calls me the Lovey. He's in finance, but he always comes to support. He's a wonderful guy. Hi George, if you're listening. But he's like, oh, here's the Lovey. What, it's a breath of fresh air. I think to have that outlet of friends who do live in Edinburgh but aren't performing there, I think that's going to be great for you.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That's always my highlight, because those are people I went to drama school with, that I trained with. And so whenever I go to Edinburgh, I'm always like, that's going to be the thing I really look forward to, is just seeing them. And going to try and like go swimming. A couple of my other friends who are up there doing Showstopper have joined like the swimming pool, the local swimming pools and stuff. So just putting all those little things in place to look after your well-being, I think, is really important that month, because it is a bit like panto, actually, like turbocharged panto. Because
you're a wonderful improviser. How did you garner those skills, Susan? Where did you get those from? Was it just through experience and working with Showstopper? You're improvising musicals, that's like next level.
I sort of tried out improv at first at drama school, but it wasn't like the kind of improv that's for performance. It was just for sort of developing acting. I loved it, and I knew then, I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever experienced. But as we were talking about earlier, when I left drama school, nobody said there's an improv world, like nobody knew about it. And then when I went to London, I eventually discovered this place called Monkey Toast, which was a place where you could learn improv. And So yeah, I went to classes. I went to like evening classes one night a week and really clicked with it. And I also really enjoyed it because the other people in the class, they weren't all actors. They were there for different reasons. Some people were there just to build up their confidence or to meet people. And I really loved that. And then I just got involved more and more. I teach all different sort of levels of improv, but teaching beginners, I think, is my favourite because for some people, it's like the first time they've played again since they were kids, which is so lovely. And they're there in a room. Some of them, like, they'll have come from doing a really stressful job in the day, and then they're there in the evening, like, I don't know, pretending to be a meringue or something. And they're just like, it's really lovely seeing people sort of open up and discover this kind of world and like approach to it's a bit strong to say it's an approach to life, but like definitely an approach to interacting. And yeah, it's really nice
realizing that it's okay to have fun and be daft and let your guard down when, you know, the older you get. I think that's important as well. It keeps you kind of young. And I remember when watching union rehearsals for the Panto season, I was just in awe because, you know, all of my work had been either going into shows where everything's cemented, there's not too much kind of freedom with interpretation of a role or material, and I just thought, wow, you were just like riffing. I was like, this is like amazing. It was and it was so lovely to kind of learn off you, and it kind of allowed me to free up a little bit, you know, to give me the confidence to think, you know, I can try a few bits and bobs, and if they don't go well, who cares, you know? It's not the end of the world, is it? Is it quite hard with the improvisation gigs when things might not work brilliantly to almost dust it off and kind of go again?
Yeah, it's a great question. Sometimes I think if something's entirely improvised, I kind of think sometimes that's easier than, I guess, what we were doing in Panto. There's like a bit of scripted and a bit of improv, isn't there? So if you're trying something new and it doesn't land, it's a bit more noticeable maybe. But when something's entirely improvised, I think the audience give you quite a lot of leeway because they're like, oh, this is cool, this team is making something up from nothing. In a way, it's sort of harder for something to go terribly, because even when something goes wrong, you then you build on that mistake. And in improv we say that like mistakes are a gift, so you can kind of, whatever happens, you can make something fun out of it. But then, you know, having said that, yeah, there are shows occasionally when you think, oh, that wasn't our best, or in Showstopper, because that's quite hard because it's a musical, as you mentioned. So like with that, the show is at a consistent standard, but as individuals within it, sometimes we do beat ourselves up just individually, and we might think, I wasn't at my best in that particular show, even though the show as a whole was okay, if you know what I mean. And that's really tricky. And so sometimes you'll be singing a song and in your head you're like, oh my god, this is the eggiest thing ever. But then like you come off and other people in the cast are like, no, that was really great, or, you know, the audience liked the fact that you were struggling, or do you know what I mean? So it's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's lovely to have that support there from your fellow group, I guess, as well. But isn't it funny how, as performers, one overanalyzes? My goodness, I'm terrible for that. Oh, me too. And especially with my solo show, I've just been really overanalyzing every little thing. It's such a stressful place for your brain to be in, isn't it? But it's hard. In contrast, then, when you are working with Showstopper, or, you know, you do a lot with Mischief Theatre, Susan, is it just joyous being with like-minded people and creating something wonderful, and that buzz of just being with people who, like yourself, just want to have fun and have a good time? That must be lovely working in a group like Mischief, to have that kind of buoyancy around you. Yeah, and buoyancy is such a great word for Mischief as well. For those people, they are so buoyant and joyful. And yeah, the first time I joined them on Mischief Movie Night, which is their improvised show, I just felt so welcomed, and it was lovely. And then that makes you do a better job, because you're like, oh, these people feel they trust me, so you can go out and take a few more risks. And yeah, it was really nice to be working with a bunch of people who were like up for a laugh, just playful and silly, and it's gorgeous, really. And then with Showstopper, like, because we've known each other for so long, it's a really nice, slightly like different dynamic, but a really nice collaboration as well. And you feel like
these people really know me, like for all the, you know, all my flaws as well. Do you know what I mean? Like your family.
I've had this chat with quite a few with kind of stand-up comedians. That do you find that if you are having a bit of a low day or feeling a bit blue, Susan, that just making people laugh kind of gives you a boost as well by the end of your performance?
Oh God, 100%. It's such a nice feeling, isn't it? And yeah, I did a little gig last night for a night called ACMS, which is an alternative comedy night, if anyone likes really weird stuff. And the audience was so brilliant. Like, they're brilliant to everyone, basically whatever you do. They're so primed. You can just literally do, and I mean, yeah, they would love your all-in-one yellow outfit. But yeah, that feels
I've probably
really
still
good.
got it somewhere, Susan. My goodness.
Dig it out.
Slightly off yellow now. Maybe a light taupe.
Yeah, and that, I did get a real boost from the audience enjoying that and being so on board, because having done a work in progress a couple of nights before where I'd felt like it wasn't quite flying, and you know, I'd been quite harsh on myself. So to have that response last night was, yeah, it was lovely, really nice. They were really participating, actually, like really shouting stuff out. Yeah, it was nice.
And the Edinburgh show, Susan Harrison, Should I Still Be Doing This? You know, our business is up and down. It can be a roller coaster. There can be wonderful highs and really difficult lows. Is the kind of idea for the show, did that come from, my goodness, I'm still ploughing on in this business, or something completely different?
No, yeah, you're right. It was exactly that. Yeah. Yeah. Just that feeling of like, you know, as you get older, you sort of evaluate the sort of small sacrifices you might be making to the other bits of your life when your work life or your creative life is so important, if that makes sense. So yeah. And I think, yeah, you probably might have experienced that too at different stages in your life, like thinking, oh, I wouldn't imagine what it'd be like just to sort of, I don't know, work in a shop and know where you were each week and know that you could commit to, like, I don't know, a friend's barbecue or something, you know, and you wouldn't be like stressing about, you know, oh, that person hasn't paid me this invoice, I'm going to have to chase this, I need to hustle more for this side job in order to support writing this other thing, you know. So yeah, it totally came from all those things.
When I'm feeling a bit low, that's when I think, oh, if only, you know, I was born differently, had a different mind, and was quite happy working in an office. But you know what, those feelings soon dissipate when I'm interviewing or working at the cricket or on stage in Panto, and just thinking, I am so pleased that I'm wired this way, because it's just joyous, isn't it, being able to do and have this skill and mindset to do what we do. So I think it's a wonderful subject matter, and I'm sure a lot of the audience and fellow creatives up in Edinburgh are going to love it, because they can all relate to it. And also, like, we are still going, you know, it's hard, but we do it because we love it. And how wonderful to be built like that. I think it's great.
Yeah, that's such a nice way of looking at it. And you're right. Yeah, in the times in my life when I have done other stuff, or like I remember when I was sort of stuck in a telesales job for quite a long time, and my friend had been away on holiday, and she came back and she was like, "Oh my God, so you need to get out. You're not you know, like, I mean, not that it's the end of the world, of course. Like, any job is a good job, really, but just in terms of, like you say, the way you're wired, it doesn't suit everyone. So yeah, and I think hopefully in the show I want the audience to feel like you know, sort of joyful by the end, and like, yeah, this is a silly job, it is ridiculous that I'm still doing it, but it's a lot of fun, and you know, we need a bit of fun in life.
Look, there's a good buzzy atmosphere in the auditorium, and then it's, you know, just lends itself to a fun night for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit of energy to bounce off. But if there isn't, that's fine too. If it's a really quiet audience, then I just have to sort of slightly recalibrate. But yeah, I'm hoping the time slot will be good. I'll let you know how that goes.
It'll be good, and you can plenty of time for your afternoon swim as well. You can do your 10 lengths, have a nice lightly tossed salad, and get to work. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, great. Bring it on.
And kind of when things are a little bit low, Susan, do you have any other go-tos away from the creative world that kind of do give you a little boost. As you progress through your career, is it easier to kind of deal with those periods where it is quiet, where you're trying to get a new character off the ground? How do you kind of navigate those times?
Yeah, I do struggle a bit sometimes, and I really admire people who have a really good work-life balance, which I don't think I've totally cracked yet. I'm still sort of working on it. But I think as I've got older, I've sort of realised the importance of seeing my parents, and going to see if I can see my family in London, like my nibblings, my niece and nephew, and I sort of know how important that is now, and I think it took me years to realise that how valuable that is. And my good friends as well, who again are not some of them are not performers, and we're trying to see each other a bit more often. And I don't know, did you find that did it take you a little while to realise how valuable all that was, or did you always know?
I think certainly recently, that as relatives have got older and everybody can be having a tough period within a family or in a circle of friends, that I just realised, and again it's highlighted since stopping drinking season, just like, what, getting a job, not getting a laugh on a line that you've practiced in, with your Colgate in front of the mirror that morning, it's not the end of the world. Nobody's going to die. And so increasingly kind of the importance of family and friends are kind of, that's even more apparent, I would say. But also throughout my career, I've always, loved having, that voice there saying, come on, it's not the end of the world if you don't get a job or a certain part that you really want and crave, because ultimately it's not the end of the world, is it? But that takes experience and life experience, I think, to get that balance. Must be lovely to know that I'm creating my own work, and I'm in charge of where my career is going, almost.
Yeah, it is nice to know that I have a lot of input. Yeah, and I kind of look back, especially because the last couple of years in our industry have been really quiet, haven't they?
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't have been up to much at all, really, if I hadn't been making stuff myself. So, yeah, it's true. It's very rare that I would ever get a casting that was not through, that I couldn't trace back through something that I'd sort of initiated or been part of, that was like that I'd collaborated with, or So yeah, I do. It is really good to have that kind of input myself, and then, but yeah, at the same time, you're still sort of waiting for, like at the moment, I'm still waiting to hear back from a job. But I guess it changes things, like an acting job, I mean. But I guess it sort of changes things, because I'm a bit like, it's really annoying. Like, it'd be nice to get it, but also if they just give me a clear no, that would be great, because then I can say yes to this lovely improv thing that's been offered, or this teaching thing that someone's asking me about. So yeah, so at least it's like you're not just depending on that.
And sometimes not knowing, it's really, even if it is a no, just let me know, so I can move on and just put it to bed and just crack on,
100%. I think it's so important, and there was quite a big thing about that, like online a few years ago, about how performers deserve to know if they haven't got a job, and it just seems to have gone away now. It seems to have gone back.
What's it like writing with a writing partner, Susan? Is that a nice experience for you? You probably do so much writing by yourself. Is it lovely to have someone in the room with you, or at the end of the phone to bounce ideas off? Is that kind of a rewarding process too for you?
It's so brilliant. It's so lovely. Yeah. So Lucy Trodd is an amazing improviser and incredible teacher and comedy writer and performer. And we met each other doing Showstopper, the improvised musical, but we didn't actually start writing together for quite a few years. And then we just bonded. I don't know if you know this, but we bonded over our different heights, because Lucy is like over 6 foot.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, and I'm like mega small. So we started chatting about things that we both experienced, looking a tiny bit different. And then we started writing. We thought, it would be fun to write a sitcom about that. So we started writing something, and then we just found that we really enjoyed the dynamic of writing together. And I think it's because we're both quite different. Like, Lucy has loads of ideas really quickly. Like, her brain is amazing. She'll be like bing bing bing, loads of great ideas, and it'll take me a bit longer, but then maybe I might be good at like channeling them or something. So I think we're a good combo. And also because we've both done improv, we both know that you can just put ideas out before they're perfect, like to each other, I mean, and then you can refine them. So it means that we do get quite a lot done, if you see what I mean.
And it must be a safe environment to work in as well, knowing that, you know, if one of your ideas doesn't hit or makes Lucy chuckle, then it's such a safe space that it's like, just get it out there and let's see what collectively we can cement, I guess. Exactly,
exactly that. Sometimes we'll be like, we use this expression a lot. We use the expression "not this but," meaning if we've got like a vague idea of what a character might say, we'll be like, oh yes, and so then they could say "not this but," which is just a way of caveating it and saying, look, I know this is not the finished article, but this is the sort of thing, and we use that all the time, and it's really helpful. And and also we both like a bit of reassurance, so we both give each other reassurance. And I think potentially there might be some writing partnerships where one person might need that and the other one doesn't, which might be harder. But we're both like, okay, I love you, at the end of a writing Zoom, or just a little bit of like affection is just something that both works for both of us. So
that's so
really
lovely.
Nice.
That to have that support is fantastic, isn't it? In any walk of life, great. I think. But if you're working with somebody who, you admire and respect, and you're creating comedy, it must be so rewarding. And rewarding when something that you've discussed over a Zoom writing meeting comes to fruition, you're on stage performing it, and it gets that immediate response. That must be so lovely.
Yeah, you're right. It's so nice. And we had this idea for a sitcom a while ago, and we filmed some of it on just on a little shoestring budget in February, and then it's being edited at the moment. And it's so rewarding to see like the first edits of that, and to be like, oh my god, we've had this idea for so long and now it's sort of happening, which is really cool.
Susan, it's so lovely to chat to you. I'm so excited for your trip to Edinburgh, the Gilded Balloon, Appleton Tower with Susan Harrison. Should I still be doing this? You definitely should. I'm bloody glad you are, because you make so many people happy, and I just hope it goes so well for you. You must be so excited.
Oh, thank you so much. That is lovely. I just can't wait to be up there now. And it's such a fun, silly show. It's quite weird. There's lots of like weird characters and silly moments, but I'm really looking forward to just sort of getting stuck in now, and hopefully the audience who like that sort of thing finding it. Yeah. It
sounds like a day in my head with all those characters. My goodness. Susan, thank you so much for joining me. Congratulations on all your continued success. You put a massive smile on my face today, and it's just been so lovely. Susan Harrison, thank you for joining me in Benjy's Cafe podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Benjy's Cafe podcast. Isn't Susan great? Susan Harrison, Should I Still Be Doing This? Plays the Gilded Balloon at Appleton Tower, 30th of July to August the 24th. If you're heading to the Fringe this year, go see. Don't forget, a fresh new episode of Benjy's Cafe podcast drops every Tuesday. Just find us wherever you get your podcasts. Give Benjy's Cafe a follow so every episode gets sent straight to your phone. Just a quick reminder, the British Podcast Awards are on the horizon, so if you can, please vote for Benjy's Cafe for the Listener's Choice Award. Just visit britishpodcastawards.com/voting. Pop in Benjy's Cafe and bingo, done. Merci beaucoup. Next week, I'm joined by my fellow member of the Tall Actors Club, the brilliant Nick Greenshields. I'll get the kettle on. Have a great day.